We are looking at quality metrics for different repositories and projects, and in this video we are going to look at commit size as a way to help us understand a little bit more about modifiability and changeability for a project. So modifiability and changeability is how hard or how easy it is to change something in your software system. If you have to touch a lot of files to make a small change, that is more difficult to modify. It is not very changeable. And we want to have fewer files touched per commit. And a commit should include the fewest changes you need to make a change. And that change could be something like a new feature or a bug fix or a security update. So having fewer files per commit could be an indicator of changeability, good changeability. And we're going to just use git commit and git stats to figure out how many files have been in each commit in the history of a project to give us a rough idea of how changeable that project is. Now, when you do an analysis, you still need to dig in a little bit deeper and understand those numbers, but this just gives us some broad strokes understanding of changeability. So I've already pulled down this project called requests. And so this is cloned onto my system. If I list out my files, you can see the requests folder right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that project folder because that is where the Git file is for this repository, for this project. And then all I have to do is copy and paste this in. What this is going to do is this git log is going to give me the stats. So actually, before I run that, let's do git log stat. And you can see what kind of information is going to come out. So this is giving me a commit and the messages in it and just some of the information about that commit. So what we're going to do with it, so here I can go ahead and show you just a little bit more. You can actually see at the bottom here how many files were changed. Okay, here's another one. One file changed. 4 files changed. Okay, let's go ahead and quit out of that. I hit the letter Q to get out of that. Let me clear this. Can we paste that in again? Let's go ahead and copy, paste. Okay, so we're doing that git log, and then we're using grep to grab how many files were changed per commit. And then we're going to output that. So let's do that. I've got a bunch of numbers here. So let's go ahead and scroll. These are all the commits in the history of this project. You can output to this to a file, do it however you want to do it. Hopefully we're almost there. Come on. There it is. Copy. And if you watched some earlier videos about coupling or cohesion, we're going to do a very similar thing to what we just did for coupling. Let's go ahead and add a new one here. So here's my values for, how about, we're going to call it number of files changed per commit. And then I'm going to do Control V to paste that in. Okay, this is the range I've got is to cell 4,654. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy that value a minute. Then I'm going to say value and I'm going to say frequency. Okay, my value, we're going to do kind of like before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then anything more than 9. You determine what's going to be your cutoff or where you just lump it together and say more. Okay, and then like in coupling what we did to calculate frequency is we used count if, and then we gave it a range and then compared it to the value. So we're going to do the same thing here for, let's rename this, for, let's say modifiability. Okay, so count if, remember I had copied that range earlier, and then I'm also going to use these dollar signs to lock in that range so I can copy and paste this easier. I'm going to count if this range contains the value in the cell next to where I'm putting this formula. Okay, so there's my frequency there. If I paste it, you can see I've got that same range, but now with C3. So I'm gonna, I don't know why, it gets so weird on me in this format, but there it is. Copy, let's paste those in. But then for more, which again, not sure why I can't see these anymore. For more, instead of having a trying to match, I'm going to just say is greater than 9. Let's make sure I can see it. There we go. Okay, so now I've got my values and I've got my frequencies, and we can go to Insert Chart, and I've already got a table. So you can see that I have, in this particular example, I have a high frequency of 1 file commits. That means for the majority of my commits, I only needed to touch 1 file, which means, which could be an indicator that this is very changeable. For most of the changes, there were not more than 1 file that were touched. I have some that were in the more category, and what you might want to think about and analyze as you ask questions about this or write a paper about it is, you know, how many files were touched in that commit, and what might that mean? Maybe there was a naming change, a variable change name, or a class change name, some sort of update that required touching a lot of files. What could that have meant? What might have been in that change? Maybe even dig through those commit messages a little bit. Remember, you can do git log -- stat, and then you can see them, and you can scroll through a bit and see if you can find that commit or one of the commits that has a larger file count, or use grep to pull out the information, and then dig into that commit a little bit and figure out what happened in this particular commit that we had so many changes. Okay, so anyways, that is how we can use git commits and the number of files in that commit to get a rough idea, an estimation of the modifiability of a project.